Brupeg is being lifted with a travel lift. A travel lift is a pretty simple gadget. It basically is a crane that uses slings to lift a weight. So they drive the travel lift over top of the boat, as you can see here, and then they put a sling at the front of the boat and at the back. Some machines have 3 slings, but that depends on the weight of the boat. This one only needs 2 slings. So then once they've got it under, they get the boat ready, they remove all the supports, and then they can lift the boat up just using those slings. Because of the weight of the boat and because of gravity, it basically hangs down in those slings until they're ready to drop it back down onto some supports.
We've waited a huge amount of time for this. She's on the move finally. So in this week's episode, we're going to make a huge leap forward in progress. We're going to get the boat ready to start lifting up, and then we're going to move it into the blast bay, and this is going to allow us to start sandblasting our boat. This will get it 4 to 5 months ahead of the schedule that we were originally planning. So this is a massive leap forward in terms of progress for Brupeg. So let's get into it. Righto, so it's day 2 for us for blasting prep. So we're taking off paint, some of the original paint, so that we can blast it right down. Now, Brupeg was covered in a paint called vulcanized rubber, and it's a pretty amazing paint. Like, it sticks to just about everything, but taking it off is pretty full on. So there's a couple of ways that you can take it off. You can obviously use something like a chemical thing, like a paint stripper. It's a pretty full on toxicity and slow process. Another way you can do it is with like mechanically taking it off, so you can sort of sand it or flapper it, sandblast it. You can grind it, like put a flap wheel on a grinder and grind it off, which is how we often do it when we've got really tight spaces. A super fast way of getting it off though is with a pneumatic or electric hammer drill, and you basically chip underneath the paint. So you get a big masonry bit and you chip right down. So I'm going to show you how we do that on Brupeg. So this is our electric hammer drill. So it's an SDS chuck with a basically what used to be quite a long chisel. It's, in this case it's 38mm wide, so about 1.5 inches wide. It's had an absolute hiding over its life, but we file these down. We basically grind off the back edge onto a 45 and then clean up the edge of, you know, the cutting edge, I suppose you could call it. And what that allows us to do is basically go along the paint and get underneath it, and it doesn't really do any damage to the steel because you've got kind of a rounded edge hitting the steel, so it just peens it, if that makes sense. But you're hooking up underneath that paint and you're just peeling off big layers of paint. So it's bloody noisy, and it's pretty hard going. You can normally only manage to do about sort of 20 to 40 minutes tops, and your shoulders are stuffed. So I've got a little bit to do here, so I'm going to show you how we rip that paint off Brupeg. And just to give you some context, we're taking maybe 5 or 6 millimeters of paint off at a time, so in one go 5 or 6 mil of paint have gone. Part of moving the boat in the next few days, we've got to move a heap of diesel and oil and so on that's stored underneath the boat in IBC. So behind me over there is 1,000 litres of fuel. We've got to move that across. I don't have a forklift, so we have a spare IBC, an empty IBC that we're pumping from one to the other. The car is my power source, and there is the IBC that we're pumping into. So you can have a look. Somewhere around here, I can't quite see on the video, but somewhere around here there's a little pump up on a stand. That's just a 12-volt fuel pump that's going to be pushing all of the fuel across. So it's going to be an interesting experiment to see how long it takes to move a ton of fuel. So behind me I've got a diesel to diesel transfer, and because of the viscosity difference between straight cold vegetable oil and diesel, it's almost twice as fast to pump diesel than it is to pump cold veggie oil. So that's just something to bear in mind when we need to transfer fuel around the boat. Yeah, I said it was a little bit rickety.
Yes. Wow, back end is empty.
I haven't seen this back empty for a year.
You got sand in your mat? I don't know, what are you telling me?
I thought that was you just banging the blooming broom out.
That's one side of that. That's not even like all of it.
Life in the yard. Dust everywhere.
Yeah.
You have quite a lot of room out here, don't you?
We do, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool.
it's gonna be neat.
Yeah. I keep just thinking like you can push kayak straight out the back and you can, you know, put very skinny dinghies up.
Time you put a little swag out here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, here's my deck sample.
Yeah, keep that, eh?
My deck paint.
Your paint?
My deck paint. Oh, I painted my deck with that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't want my deck to go rusty, so put a good coat of paint on it.
How many litres did you need?
Oh, quite a bit. I've got
It's a sample pot.
20 litres doesn't go far on my deck.
You know what I reckon would be really awesome?
So,
Is to have a swing out arm, like a, I don't know, like a triangle frame, up against here, and there's like a harness in it so that you can like
In the water.
drop yourself into the water and stuff.
Jimmy while you're cruising along.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually going to do that. So I'm going to be building an aluminium triangulated arm here.
That swings out.
It'll clip onto that side or this side, and it can swing out to either side and out the back. So it'll have a hinge so that it comes out there.
Yeah.
Means you can swing it out over that side or out this side as well. So pretty much anything all the way around the whole back end of the boat can be lifted into the middle of the boat here and winched up and down and whatever. So yeah, we could string it up like a spinnaker pole. So that, yeah, when you're cruising along, we could
Sit in the chair.
sit in the chair, pull you down. So it's that's about 8 o'clock on Sunday night, and we've been going since about 6 a.m. I think, roughly, something like that in the morning. So we've been at it all day getting the boat ready to move. We've taped up all the wheelhouse, we've cut bits off the back end of the boat. Brian has been awesome. We've moved so much stuff around the bottom of the boat, getting it ready to go. A year and a bit's worth of boat building parts. We're absolutely knackered. So yeah, we're about to. The boat gets lifted up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we're about 95% of the way there. So we've still got a wee bit more bits to do first thing. So we're going to get up at 4:30 and get stuck into it so that the boat's ready to go at 6. So it's a huge set of days for us. But yeah, we're making massive leaps in terms of how far this is going to push us forward. So it's pretty awesome. Brupeg's now in the blast bay. We're going to get stuck into our fuel tanks today, so they'll be blasting the fuel tanks, the rear roof, and the rim of the rear roof, the engine vents, as well as the deck. So there's quite a lot to be done. So if we need to, we'll extend for another day in here. But yeah, this is a huge move for us because it allows us to get so much more forward progress done. So once we've got these tanks blasted, we can start putting the paint in there, and that allows us to get our veggie oil processed and into those tanks. Advanced screening. This is the sandblasting garnet all over the floor of the blasting bay, and this is our, well, one of our tanks blasted out. You can sort of see the whole thing ends up as a beautiful white metal.
Somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone.